Starting a dropshipping business from scratch can be pretty overwhelming when you don't really know where to even start. So today I'm going to be giving you guys the exact step-by-step formula that I would personally take if I were to start over again from scratch tomorrow. So hopefully after watching this video, you have a clear path in mind on how to actually start a dropshipping business successfully. So if you're new here, my name is Artem Sunsov and I make videos about dropshipping, e-commerce, and just how to make money online. So if you want to see more content like this, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. But without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So there are four main things that are really going to make or break your dropshipping store, and those are the product, website, your advertising, the actual video ads that you run, and finally your marketing and how you actually drive people to your website. If you can get these four things right, success is almost guaranteed, but obviously it's not as easy as it seems. And definitely the first mistake that people make is thinking that this is so easy. They're going to throw up a quick website, run a couple of ads, and right away start making sales. Dropshipping is definitely one of the easiest business models to start, but it's definitely not easy. But anyway, the first part that you're going to want to focus on is finding a good product. This is arguably one of the most important elements because if you have amazing advertising, an amazing website, but you have a product that nobody really wants to buy, it's going to be really hard to actually generate any sales. Sure, you can sell pretty much anything with amazing advertising and an amazing website, but here's the thing, it's a lot easier to sell a great product than it is to sell a pretty bad one. If nobody actually needs your product, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to sell. My criteria for a good product is fairly simple. The first thing that I look for is that it has to be problem solving. Now, a lot of people think it actually has to solve some meaningful problem like back pain or something like that, but that's not the case at all. It can solve literally anything. It can solve insecurities, boredom, anything you can think of, as long as it solves something, as long as the product actually does something that meets my criteria. Next, I try to look for products that have a good profit margin to them. At the very least, you want to have a product with at least a 2x margin, and ideally you want to sell it at 3x. The reason I said 2x is because let's say your product cost is $20 and you're able to sell it 2x at 40. That is still a very nice profit margin of $20 and you're going to be able to run ads with that. But obviously, if you have a product that's let's say $7 and you can sell it at 14, $7 profit margin is not enough to actually run ads because you want to make sure that you have room to run ads to actually acquire the customers and still there be profit left for you. And never try to force a profit margin. If you think the max a product can be sold as is $20, don't mark it up to 40 because people aren't stupid. They can tell when a product is being overcharged for. Let's say I was trying to sell this iPhone for like $5,000. Nobody would want to buy it, right? The fair price for this is like $600, $500. And lastly, a super important requirement for me is the product has to be broad. It has to be able to market it to a broad group of people. I like to stay away from the super niche, weird products that a lot of dropshippers for some reason like to sell. Like beginners, they go out and they'll try to sell a fishing pole to married fishermen or something like that, something really weird. And when they don't get any sales, they're confused because they're doing everything right, but they're just marketing to a really specific audience that maybe they don't have the skills yet to actually market to them. If you're an expert, sure, you can go ahead, market to anybody, but when you're just starting out, it's better to stick to really broad products that have the largest pool of people that you can actually sell to. Just to give you an example, the flying spinner is a good example of a winning product. It was fairly unique, so not a lot of people kind of saw it. Plus, it cured boredom, which is a problem for a lot of people in this day and age. And it was able to be marketed to a wide variety of people, right? Pretty much anybody could use their product. So now that you have your product picked, it is now time to build a website. And the first thing that people wonder is what type of website they should build. One product, niche, or general. I usually like to build niche stores and one product stores, mostly niche stores, and I'll explain in a sec. But I like to stay away from general stores because the conversion rate is really low and it just doesn't look very professional. And especially for TikTok, you really want to be building niche stores and one product stores. A one product store is pretty self-explanatory. A store focused on one type of product. It usually doesn't have upsells, or if it does, it has a little bit. And a niche store is basically a store where it has a bunch of products in one niche. And that is the type of store that I like to build myself because you can choose one product to be your main product and then you can fill your store up with similar products that you can then use as upsells. And upsells are really important because they bring up your average order value and really help you stay profitable. Some of my stores, I would have never been profitable if I didn't have any upsells because they were a major part of my revenue. So I would recommend building a niche store. That is what's been doing the best for me and for a lot of people I know. So once again, just to give you an example, a great example of this would be the sunset lamp. Lots of people built really good one product stores for the sunset lamp and they filled them up with upsells. And what people And when people would come to the store for the sunset lamp, they'd browse around a little bit and they would maybe buy 1 or 2 more products along with the sunset lamp, and that would just boost the revenue through the roof because you aren't paying for the acquisition cost for those other products. So you're pretty much just getting almost all profit on them besides obviously the product cost. So that's why it's super important to have upsells on your store. If you've never built a store in Shopify before, it's super easy to do. Shopify makes it very easy to actually design a clean, professional looking store on their platform. But I do know if you've never really built a store using those online kind of store builders, it can be a bit intimidating, but there's a ton of really great tutorials on YouTube that you can follow literally step by step. I also have a tutorial on my exact store layout that I use. So if you want to check it out, I'll throw up a link to it, but it's not that great and I'll probably update it in the future. Also, if you want, I've linked a couple of my favorite tutorials that I personally use to kind of learn how to build a store. And another pretty big problem people have is not knowing if their website is up to par to modern standards or if it even looks professional. And the way I would recommend you get around this problem is looking at other big e-commerce stores. And this is exactly what I did when I was just starting out. I looked at professional e-commerce brands that started out as dropshipping stores and then transitioned to big e-commerce brands. And this right here is actually an example of one of them, Spine Deck. These guys are doing insanely well. I think they've been around for around 2 years now because I started dropshipping around a year ago and they were still around back then. It does look like they improved their website a lot. So I would take a look at a website like this and just model and base my websites after it. So as you can see, it looks really nice, really professional. Tons of great high quality images. They have their product right away on display. Lots of testimonials, bundles, tons of upsells. Once again, more social proof, throwing up those well-known logos. And if we take a look at their product page, as you can see, they have a ton of really nice professional images, lifestyle images, showing people actually using the product. So once again, they have a bunch of reviews, a bunch of testimonials. They have those upsells, which do boost their revenue a lot. And if we scroll down to the product description, as you can see right away, they hit you with that powerful headline: combat dreadful back pain and poor posture with just 10 minutes a day. That tells you right away what this product is about and what you can expect from it. And after that, they describe it even more, have a nice picture showing what it's actually going to do. How does it work? Because that's naturally the next question their customers are going to have. Try it risk-free, and then just following up with a bunch more social proof, testimonials, showing why their product is better than others, and just with more benefit. So this is the perfect example of a great product description and what a good product description looks like. You don't have to make it as professional as this, but if you can just make it as close as possible, you're going to be way ahead of other people that are just building these crappy dropshipping stores that everybody's seen before, because people trust websites like this. They don't trust dropshipping stores, right? Now in 2020, a lot of people have bought something before from a dropshipping store and didn't really have that great of an experience. Maybe the item arrived broken, maybe they even got scammed. So if they see your store and it looks like a store that they bought from before and they got scammed from, they're probably not going to want to buy from you because they have that red flag in their mind. But if you build a website like this or something close to this, they're going to trust it a lot more because it looks like a real professional brand. So I would recommend just looking at a couple of these websites. I'll link some down below. The ones that I personally looked at when I was kind of learning how the website should look like. And I would just try to I would go through, analyze the website, look at every small detail that they're doing, the type of images they're using, color schemes, everything like that, and just try to make your website look as close as possible to this. You don't even have to be selling the same exact product. I based my pet store website that I was running a couple of months ago on this website, and they're not even closely related products, but the outline is still the same. So you can use this outline with pretty much any product that you have. Just making sure you can make your website look as professional as possible, and it really doesn't take that long. I could probably build a website similar to this in like around 2 days, so it doesn't really take that long. Obviously, if you're starting out, it's going to take a bit longer because you don't know where things are, and it's going to take some time to like poke around and figure out everything, but it shouldn't take longer than a week. Some people spend months on a website and they test the product and it doesn't work, and they're super discouraged because they spent so much time on this website and they expected it to get them sales, but unfortunately because they had a bad product, it just didn't work out. So I would recommend spending no longer than a week testing. I would recommend spending no longer than a week building out your website so you can just get through all these stages quickly and not get too attached to your product. Now that you have your product and your website completely finished, you can now focus on getting some advertisements for your product. And there are three main ways that you can do this. The first being ordering the product from Amazon, eBay, wherever. You can find it with fast shipping, shipping it to yourself, and actually just filming some videos with your phone. This is probably the easiest and the cheapest option. You don't have to have like a great camera. You can just film with your phone, especially for TikTok. The more natural it looks, the better it's going to perform. So it really doesn't have to be anything super special. I would just say, just make sure to use viral sounds, viral trends, everything like that. The next option is going to be to hire an influencer. This one is more expensive, but it's still in the $50 to $100 range, depending on the size of the influencer. Obviously, there are some influencers that would charge you upwards to $500, but when you're just starting out, there's no point in going for any of them. Basically, you just have to find an influencer with around 20K followers on TikTok or Instagram, reach out to them and ask them if they can film a video and shout out your product. And then once they actually make the video, they're going to post it on their page, which you can actually get some sales from the shout out, but that's not the point. We're going to download the video and we're actually going to run ads with the video. And this is another great way to get video creatives because they actually know a bit more on how to film good videos because they do that for a living. And you can get some pretty cheap, high quality video creatives. The final option is a bit more expensive, but you are going to get the best quality and the most control when you do go with the third option, which is going to Fiverr or Upwork. This is the option that I prefer to go to when I validated the product and I know that it sells, because then I can invest more time and money into the video creatives and I can ensure that they are going to do the best. This option is going to cost you the most amount of money, around $300 in my experience. So definitely don't go for this option if you're just testing out a product and you don't know if it's going to sell. But this is a good option for a product that you are trying to scale, because you are going to be able to have that great communication with the Fiverr or Upwork professional, and they have usually access to a lot of models that you can test out. So you can do male, you can do female models, you can do different style of videos. There's just so much customization that you can do, and that is really the option that I prefer to go with when I actually validate a product and try to scale it. Now, the last option, I don't recommend this option for obvious reasons, but it is one that a lot of people go to when they are just starting out, and that is going to be to go to TikTok and search up your product on there and download some of the videos that people have already made. And obviously, this isn't good for a couple of reasons. One, mainly it's unethical, and two, you can get banned. I have gotten a couple of my ad accounts banned due to this. So once again, I'm not saying you should do this, but I'm not going to pretend I didn't do this when I was starting out. I don't do this anymore, but that is another option. I wouldn't recommend it, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. A couple of tips on how you want to make your video creatives. The first 3 seconds have to be super engaging and super attractive so people don't just scroll past your product. Because a lot of people, they make their videos like ads and people don't really like ads, so they just scroll past them. Your videos are boring. This in return is obviously going to give you a really low click-through rate. So now that you have your product, your website, and your marketing ready, you can now start marketing your business to the public. So you can do this in 3 main ways, and that is organic, paid ads, and influencer marketing. So in this video, I'm only going to talk about paid TikTok ads and organic traffic on TikTok. I'm not going to talk about Facebook ads or influencer marketing because I don't really think they are that good to start out with, but they are 2 really good options for marketing your business. I'm just not going to focus on them in this video. So the 2 main options that I would recommend you start out with is organic TikTok or paid TikTok. So what I mean by organic is just posting videos on regular TikTok about your product. And you can do this by just ordering the product and making videos about it. And you're basically relying on the algorithm to make you go viral, driving traffic to your store and getting sales. The upsides to this is that it's completely free. You're going to have really good profit margins, but the downsides is you're kind of relying on the algorithm to make you go viral. So it's not super consistent. And also your conversion rate is going to be pretty low because because the free traffic on TikTok isn't targeted and it's also kind of low quality, meaning that you could get a lot of traffic with no buying power. So like little kids that don't have money, just going to your store, window shopping, and then just bouncing right off. So that is one downside to this. Your conversion rate is probably going to be less than 1%. At least that's what it was in my experience. But this is a great option if you have absolutely no budget to actually get started. The next option that you have is going to be paid ads. So this one does require a little bit of capital. I would recommend $500 to $1,000 to test a couple of products. TikTok ads aren't that expensive compared to Facebook ads. The whole premise of TikTok ads is super similar to Facebook. So if you already ran Facebook ads in the past, TikTok is going to be super easy for you. But if you haven't, I'm going to show you here right away. So let's jump into my computer and I'll show you guys how to set up a campaign. This is one of my old business managers that I don't use anymore, which is why I'm just using this as an example for this video. So we're going to go ahead, click the blue create button right here. We're going to go ahead and create a new campaign right now. So for the advertising objective, we want purchases. So we're going to choose conversions. And here is where you're mainly going to do all the customizing. So for the ad group name, we're going to call it broad. For the promotion type, we want website because that is what we're advertising. Obviously here, you just want to choose your pixel, complete payment. That's essentially purchase. Purchases is what we want. So that's what we're going to select. Placements, manual placements only to TikTok. We don't want any of these other apps. You're going to want to turn off video download always. For user comment, you can leave it on if your video ad is good or like your product is cool. I would suggest personally turning it off just because you might get a lot of negative comments. And just in my experience, I've gotten a lot of negative comments when I have turned this on. So we're just going to leave it off. Next, going down here, you don't want to touch any of this. For location, we're going to choose Canada and the United States. This will vary on where you are located in the world. I'm in the US, so I can target in US and Canada. Then gender, we're going to leave all, age all, and we're not going to choose any interest targeting. Instead of testing different interest groups, we're going to test different videos. So after this, we're going to make 3 duplicates with 1 different video each. For the daily budget, minimum you can do is 20. I'd recommend doing 50, but if you are in a low budget, you can do 20. And then once again, you do have to keep in mind, we're going to have 3 of these testing 1 different video each. So in total, if you do 20, you're going to be spending $60 a day. If you do 50, $150. So up to your budget, but I'd recommend doing 50. So we're just going to do 50 for this example. For the schedule, we obviously want to schedule it for the next day at 12 a.m. Super simple stuff right there. For the bid strategy, I like going lowest cost. I've messed around with the cost cap a bit, but I found it is a bit finicky. So I just like to go with lowest cost. The only time I do manual bidding is when my TikTok ads aren't spending. And I am planning on making a video in the future because I do know a lot of people have this issue where their TikTok ads aren't spending. And that is where you would do the cost cap. But for this video, we're just going to stick to lowest cost. So we're going to click next. And here we're actually going to set up our video creative. So here it's going to give you the option to make a custom identity for your TikTok page. And you're just going to want to put your website name and your profile picture. So this is my wallet product that I ran a couple of months before, Crux Trace. So obviously we have the profile picture and the brand name. For the video creative, I'm just going to use one that I ran before in the past. So that's what it's going to look like. And for the text, I like to keep things super simple. Something just like sale ends soon. You don't want to overthink it because all the focus is on the video. Nobody's really looking down in the bottom left corner. So you can just put pretty much whatever they're like 40% off sale or sale ends soon, up to you on there. You want to do a standard call to action, shop now, and then obviously just add your website landing page. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it on the TikTok side of things. Super simple. And then we're going to go ahead and click submit. So after finishing this, you're going to want to repeat this 2 more times, just replacing the video, keeping all the settings the same. So you're going to be testing 3 different videos each, and you can see which video will do the best. You're going to let the ads run for a couple of days. I usually leave them on for 2 to 3 days just to see how they perform. And if the results are really bad, I leave the product right away and then move on. And if the results are good, obviously I just keep scaling the product. So it's super simple with TikTok. You will be able to see if your product is really good right away. So that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I hope you guys were able to find some value in here. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next upload. Peace.